Welcome you to my second video on transformation of sentences. In the first video we gave introduction, and now we are going to start changing of degree. And in the first video we learned how adjectives are changed from one degree to another, and we learned that there are three ways in which adjectives are changed from one degree to another. And one important point that I did not mention in that video and that you must all pay attention to is that three ways of changing adjectives from one degree to another is there. You are not to mix up. If ER or EST is used to make positive, comparative and superlative, then this is the only thing. At the same time, you should not use more, most also. For example, if the word is easy, easier, easiest. This poem is easier than that. You should not say this poem is more easier, because more is used when ER and EST is not used. For those words where ER, EST is not used, for them only more and most is used. You are using more and most, again you are using ER, EST at the same time for the same word. This should not be, but many students do it. I repeat this thing. Three ways of changing an adjective from one degree to another are there, but for a particular word, for a particular adjective, you have to follow one rule, whichever is suitable. If ER and EST is used for such words, no need to use more, most. If more and most are used, no need to use ER, EST. Don't use ER, EST at the end of the adjective. At the same time, more and most at the beginning of the word. Don't mix up. Don't do this thing. I hope you have got my point. This is very important. Many students make such mistakes. So now coming to our changing of degree. Again, so far as the words are concerned, when a word, an adjective is changed into another degree, there are three ways. The same three ways here also we have when we change a whole sentence from one degree to another. And this is the first way. And then there will be two other ways of changing degrees for some other types of sentences. This is one type of sentence, and for this type of sentence, this is the rule that we are going to discuss. Look at this sentence. Goa is the smallest state in India. Goa is the smallest state in India. This sentence is in superlative degree. How do we know? Because in this whole sentence, there is an adjective, smallest, and this smallest is in superlative form. Its positive form was small, smaller, smallest. So since the adjective is in superlative form, this means this sentence is a superlative degree sentence. And then you see, when there is a superlative degree word, before it, the is there. This is very important. The moment you use a superlative degree word, just before it, you have to use the smallest, the biggest, the easiest, the most difficult, the best, the worst, the most. So before the superlative degree word, the is essential. Goa is the smallest state in India. This is superlative degree. I have used the word letter S within bracket for this. In the examination, you are not to write this. Just for your understanding, I have written. Now you have changed it into comparative degree. See what we have done. Goa is. The same two words we have used. In superlative degree, Goa is. In comparative also, Goa is. Then what happens is that in superlative degree, we have used the smallest. Superlative degree word is used. The superlative degree of small is smallest, and before it, the is used. What about comparative degree? In comparative degree, the is not used. The comparative form of smallest is smaller. Smallest is the superlative form. Its comparative degree is smaller. We have written this. But after this smaller, there is this word then. In case of superlative, before the superlative degree word, the is essential. In case of comparative degree, immediately after the comparative degree word, then is essential. This point is very important. In case of superlative degree, just before the superlative degree word, the is essential. In case of comparative degree, just after the comparative degree word, then is essential. Now, this then, THA and then. There is another word in English, THE and then. THE and then means at that time. But this TH and then is used for comparison. Remember, whenever there is a comparison, THAN is used. He is taller than you. India is bigger than Nepal. Today is hotter than yesterday. So in all these sentences, comparison is made and then THAN then is used. So in comparative degree, immediately after the comparative degree word, THAN then is used, not THEN. Goa is smaller than any other state in India. Goa is smaller than any other state in India. This any other you have to remember very well. Because afterwards we will find some other words, some other sentences where any other is not used. So here any other is used, you have to remember this. Coming to the positive degree, sentence in positive degree, you see how the beginning is quite different. In case of the superlative and the comparative degree, the beginning is the same. Goa is the smallest. Goa is smaller than. Coming to positive degree, we begin with no other state in India is as small as Goa. See the comparison. In case of superlative degree, before the superlative degree word, the is essential. In case of comparative degree, after the comparative degree word, then is essential. And in case of positive degree, before and after the positive degree word, here the word small is the adjective, and this is in positive form. Before and after this word, as is used. Before small as is used, after small again as is used. As, small as. In case of the first as, if you wish, you can use so also instead of as. You can say, no other state in India is as small as Goa, or you can say, no other state in India is so small as Goa. So let us again see this thing. These three sentences, they give the same meaning. Transformation is made, huge change is made, but in spite of that, all the three sentences give the same meaning. First one is in superlative degree, and what is the essential feature? That before the superlative degree word, the is essential. Second sentence is in comparative degree, and the most essential thing is that immediately after the comparative degree word, THN then is essential. The third sentence is in positive degree. What is essential here is that before and after the positive degree word, as, the same word as is used. Before the positive degree word, immediately after the positive degree word. The one as that you have used before the positive degree word, in place of that, if you choose, you can use so also instead of as. So let us read out the three sentences again. Goa is the smallest state in India. Superlative degree. Goa is smaller than any other state in India. Comparative degree. No other state in India is so small as Goa, or no other state in India is as small as Goa. This is the positive degree word. So this is one way of changing degree. This is one way of changing degree. And there are two other ways of changing degrees for two other types of sentences. This is one type of sentence, and for this is the way of changing degree. And on the same type, we are going to do another sentence. And that one will be question number 2. February is the smallest month of the year. This is the superlative degree. February is the smallest month of the year. The same thing that we discussed in question number 1. Again, you see, before smallest, there is the. February is smaller, after smaller than. Again, in positive, you see, no other month of the year is as small as. Small is the adjective, and before small, there is as. After small, there is again as. The first as you can use so also. And remember, no other month of the year is. Many students, while writing the sentence in positive degree, they miss this is. Is there, and after is there is as, and they often miss the verb is. If you miss the verb is, the whole sentence will not carry meaning. It will be incomplete. So you will lose marks. February is the smallest month of the year, superlative degree. February is smaller than any other month of the year, comparative degree. And lastly, positive degree. No other month of the year is as small as February, positive degree. These three sentences and the earlier three sentences in question number 1, they all belong to the same category, and this is how we change their degree. And you have to write these things in your copy. You have to underline words like these things, the smallest. The smallest. Before smallest there is the. You have to underline smaller than. After smaller than is there. You have to underline as small as. As small as. And then again you have to underline words like February is the smallest. This you have already underlined. February is smaller than any other month. Any other month, singular number, not months. These things you have to keep in mind, you have to highlight them, because in the next number 3 that we will give, you will find sentences of somewhat different type, and the changes also will be somewhat different. So you have to understand the difference. This is a very minute difference, you have to understand it really very well. So before that you have to understand this 1 and 2 really very well. This 1 and 2, in 1 we got 3 sentences. One is in superlative degree, one is in comparative degree, the last one was in positive degree. The same is the case with this number 2 also, and the number 3 will be of a different type. Next one is number 3. Mizoram is one of the smallest states in India. Before we discuss this, I will ask you to look at the sentences that you wrote. In number 1 we had 3 sentences. In number 2 we had 3 sentences. You must have written them down in your copies. Compare those sentences. The first sentence in number 1, the first sentence in number 2, you will find a similarity. What is the similarity? In the first sentence in number 1 and in the first sentence in number 2, they are similar, because then Goa is the smallest. And then in the second one we had Goa is the smallest. In the first one it was Goa is the smallest state in India. February is the smallest month of the year. Mizoram is not the smallest. Goa is the smallest. February is the smallest. But here Mizoram is not the smallest. What is it? Mizoram is one of the smallest. Mizoram is one of the smallest. One of these two words are new. Mizoram is one of the smallest. This is one change. In this way, this sentence is different from number 1 and 2. Another thing, compare in number 1 and 2, you find that Goa is the smallest state. Goa is the smallest state. Then in number 2, February is the smallest month, singular number. State in number 1, month in number 2 are singular. Coming to this number 3, you see it is not singular, states. Mizoram is one of the smallest states. Remember this thing. When you find sentences of this type, one of the, and then the noun must be in plural number, then what is the thing to do? See the comparative degree here. Mizoram is smaller than, this much is the same like number 2 and 3. Goa is smaller than, February is smaller than, and here we have Mizoram is smaller than. This much is okay, fine. The difference is that in number 1, Goa is smaller than any other. In number 2, February is smaller than any other. But here, Mizoram is smaller than not any other. It is many other or most other. In place of any, you have to write many other or most other. Then again, the noun is states. If you look at number 1, you will find Goa is smaller than any other state, singular number. February is smaller than any other month, singular number. But here, Mizoram is smaller than many other or most other states, plural number in India. Then coming to number 3, the last sentence in positive degree, again, in number 1 and 2, the beginning was no other state in India, in number 1. No other month of the year. But here it is not no other. Here it is what? Very few states. Here again states, firstly very few. In place of no other, it is very few. And again, in number 1 and 2, you found the noun is in singular number. No other state in India, in number 1. No other month singular number. But here, very few states, plural number. Very few states in India are In number 1 and 2, this is singular, is, because state is singular in number 1, verb is also singular, is. No other state in India is. No other month of the year is. But here, very few states, plural number, very few states in India are as small as Mizoram, or you can say so small as Mizoram. So this is the second type of sentences. When you change degree, you will find this number 3 is different from number 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are quite similar. They are the same. This is one category, one type of sentence. This is the second type of sentence. And how are these two, 1 and 2, different from 3 in meaning? When you say Goa is the smallest state in India, you mean to say that Goa is so small that there is no other state having so much smallness. Like Goa, so small state is not there in India. No other state is so small as Goa. That is why we say it. But coming to Mizoram, you see, Mizoram is one of the smallest states. One of the smallest states in India. It means that Mizoram is not that this much smallness is not there in other states. There are other states which are also small, and Mizoram is one of them. In case of Goa, it is so small that such smallness is not there in any other state. But this is not the case with Mizoram. That Mizoram is of course small, but its smallness is not unique. It is not the extreme smallness. Such smallness other states also have. That is why it is said Mizoram is one of the smallest states in India. Mizoram is smaller than many other states in India, or most other states in India. And then very few states in India are as small as Mizoram. So the differences I have told you, I have underlined it. In 1 and 2, singular is there. And in 1 and number 3, plural is there. In noun is in plural number, verb is also in plural form. So this is, number 3 is different from 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are same in some respect, in all respects. And number 3 is quite different. And the next one that we will do again will be of this number 3 type. This is number 4. This is one of the most difficult sums. This is one of the most difficult sums. This question number 4, this you will find to be similar to number 3. Number 1 and 2 are of one category, 3 and 4 are of another category. This is one of the is there in number 3, not in number 1 and 2. And then sums, plural number. Earlier also in number 3 you got that Mizoram is one of the smallest states. This is one of the most difficult sums. Then coming to comparative degree, this is more difficult than many other, not any. In number 1 and 2 we got any other. In number 3 we got many or most other. Again noun is in plural, sums. This is more difficult than many other sums. This is more difficult than most other sums. Coming to positive degree, very few sums, like number 3. In number 1 and 2 we got no other sum, no other state, no other month. But coming to number 3 you got very few states. Here again number 4, very few sums. And when this sums is plural, this verb will also be in plural. Very few sums are as difficult as this. Okay? Very few sums are as difficult as this. Let us see these 3 sentences again. Firstly, the superlative degree. This is one of the most difficult sums. This is one of the most difficult sums. Comparative degree is, this is more difficult than most other sums. And then positive degree is, very few sums are as difficult as this. So, as I told you earlier that 3 types of sentences are there, and there are 3 ways of changing them. In number 1 and 2 we have got, this is one type of sentence, and how this is changed from one degree to another we have learned it. And the number 3 and 4, these 2 are of another type. These 3 and 4, they follow the same rule. We have learned it how this type of sentence is changed from one degree to another. And now we will see the third type. That will be different from this 1, 2 and 3, 4 also. Here we have number 5 and 6. See number 5. His brother is not as tall as he. His brother is not as tall as he. This is obviously in positive degree. As tall as, or you can say so tall as also. This is positive degree. And then when we change it into comparative degree, we bring this part at the beginning. He is taller than his brother. His brother is not as tall as he is taller than his brother. This taller than, this is comparative degree. Now the question is, superlative is not written. This is not a mistake on my part. I did it intentionally. The question may be, what is the superlative degree? For this type of sentences, superlative degree cannot be made. But why? Because superlative, the word superlative, I told you super duper hit. It should be best out of many, at least best out of 3, more than 2. Here the comparison is specific. His brother is not as tall as he. Comparison is specified to 2 individuals. One is he, the other one is his brother. This is unlike your number 1, 2, 3, 4. In number 1, we found that Goa at one hand and other Indian states. Out of all these Indian states, Goa is the smallest. Then you found February, other months, there are 11 other months. Mizoram, then all other states of India. So superlative is possible. You can change a sentence into superlative degree when you find that there is more than 2. Then only one can come out of superlative degree. In certain schools, there is a joke, very nice joke, that someone told his friend that my son has become second in the annual examination. Wow, congratulations, he has become second. And the man said, first of all, ask me how many students are there in the school. There are only 2 students in the class. So out of 2 students, he has become second. What is the great achievement here? You cannot say he is the best. Because to be best, there should be comparison between more than 2. Otherwise, he can at best become better than the other, not best. Here the comparison is specific. One is he, his brother, the other is he. But in number 1, 2, 3, 4, we got that there are more than 2. Goa in one hand, on the other hand, other Indian states. February, then other months of the year. Mizoram, other months of the other states of India. So then only superlative degree is possible. So when you find that comparison is specified to 2 individuals or 2 things, you cannot make a superlative degree. So his brother is not as tall as he. This is positive. He is taller than his brother. That is comparative. That is the end of it. You cannot change it into superlative. Coming to number 6, you see again, biology is easier than physics. I don't know that. I didn't study science, but people say. So those people who find this thing agreeable, you will be happy, I know. But there are people who really find physics interesting. For them, this may not be that good a news. Anyway, biology is easier than physics. Here you see comparison is between 2 specified subjects. It is not that biology is easier than any other subject. If it is biology is easier than any other subject, it means other subjects are there. But here comparison is specific. It is limited to 2 subjects only. So you can at best make it comparative and nothing else. You cannot go for superlative. Biology is easier than physics, comparative degree. Physics is not as easy as biology, or physics is not so easy as biology. That will be the positive degree. Now, then the thing is that I think you have got this point. There are 3 types of sentences where you will find when you change degree. And for these 3 types, there are 3 ways of changing. Number 1 and 2, they belong to one category. Number 3 and 4, they belong to another category. Number 5 and 6, they belong to a third category. You have to understand these things really very, very well. And then you will find this change of degree very interesting. When we complete practicing such basic things, I discuss the basic things. I will give you homework also today, and you will have to practice your homework at home. In the next video, we will discuss those homeworks first. Then we will proceed to other things. And then, like narration, at the end, in some videos, we will do those sentences that have already come in final examinations. This we will do later. So these are the 6 sentences we have done. 6 sentences discussing 3 categories of sentences for which 3 types of changes are required. I am sure you have got the point, you have understood it, and the next part will be some homework I am going to provide to you. 6 sentences are given for your homework. Let me read out the sentences. Honesty is the best policy. I have not mentioned what degree it is. because this is not a practice session, this is your homework. You have to judge what degree it is, and then you have to change it to other 2 degrees. In case you find a sentence which cannot be changed into superlative, as we have got in number 4 and in number 3 and 3, sorry, in number 5 and 6, in that case it is up to you. If you are sure that this cannot be changed into superlative, only positive and comparative can be, that's it. Otherwise you have to change it into 2 other types. Honesty is the best policy. Whatever degree it is, you first mention it in your answers in your notebook. Within bracket you write P for positive, C for comparative, S for superlative, and then change it to other 2 types. Number 2 is no other country in the world is as large as Russia. Again you have to first of all judge what degree it is, change it to 2 other degrees. Then number 3 is very few boys in our school are as good as Ramesh. The same thing you will do. Number 4, Nepal is smaller than India. Number 5, July is hotter than most other months of the year. Number 6 is he is one of the oldest men in the village. So all these 6 sentences, first you identify what degree it is, mention this within bracket, change it into 2 other forms. If you find that it cannot be changed into 2 other forms, it can be changed into only 1 other form, you do it accordingly. So do these homework, only 6 sentences are given, and in the next video at the very beginning we will discuss these 6 sentences. We will compare your answer and then we will proceed to learn some other things. Wishing to meet you soon with a new video. Thank you very much.